Hello, I am Dr. Sagar Kulkarni. I am a consultant pediatrician practicing since last 14 years in Aurangabad, Maharashtra. Today I will be speaking on rotavirus vaccines. Rotavirus vaccine, as we know, there are two types, monovalent and pentavalent, and in this session we will be discussing about both these types of vaccine. But the first question is this vaccine really needed in India? Let me tell you, gastroenteritis is responsible for nearly 5,27,000 deaths annually worldwide, and nearly 0.274 million deaths occur in India alone. Approximately 37% severe diarrhea are caused by rotavirus in India. Hygiene and clean potable water has not been able to contain its incidence, and so the importance of vaccine is very much high in respect to rotavirus disease. Let us see what is the rotavirus disease burden in India. If you see, there are about nearly 1.1 crore episodes of rotavirus, nearly 32 lakhs OPD visit, nearly 8.8 lakh hospitalization occur because of rotavirus, and it amounts to nearly 1 lakh deaths only and only because of rotavirus disease. In short, this is the structure of virus. You see, it has VP7 which defines the G types, it has VP4 which defines the P types, and VP6 which defines groups and subgroups. Based on this P and G types, the serotypic nomenclature has been done. What are the prevalent serotypes in India? The most prevalent is G1P8, the second number is G2P4, and other serotypes are G9P8, G3P8 and G4P8. This data has been taken from Expanded National Rotavirus Surveillance Network India. So does this mean that the most prevalent serotype, that is G1P8, should be there in each and every vaccine? No. Now there is something called as homotypic versus heterotypic protection. So what is this? Homotypic means the vaccine protects against the serotype which is there in the vaccine, but heterotypic means the vaccine will give protection against other serotypes which is not there in vaccine. Now let me tell you that natural infection or immunization in children with one serotype induces protection against a different serotype, and that is the definition of heterotypic protection. But what is the exact mechanism of this heterotypic protection? The first is antibodies directed against cross-reactive epitopes on outer capsid proteins VP4 and VP7. Second, antigenically conserved inner capsid proteins. Third, rotavirus specific cytotoxic T lymphocytes that broadly cross-react with cells infected with different serotypes. Antiviral cytokines generated by activated CD4 bearing T cells. Also, let me tell you that the first infection, let it be a natural one or because of a vaccine one, is the severe. The second one becomes moderate, and the third and fourth are mild and asymptomatic, let it be by the prevalent serotype or not by the prevalent serotype. Now, what are the correlates of protection? How can we say that the immunogenicity of the efficacy has been achieved? The first is serum anti-rotavirus IgA antibody. Seroconversion is defined as an increase in 4 times in titer from paired serum samples. Anti-rotavirus IgG levels, serotype specific serum neutralizing antibody, rotavirus specific memory B cells located in intestinal lamina propria, rotavirus specific IgA at intestinal mucosal surface. Efficacy. Now there are different parameters of efficacy data measurement, and this is complicated. Efficacy can be measured against any rotavirus gastroenteritis, efficacy against severe rotavirus gastroenteritis, efficacy against very severe, efficacy in first year of life, efficacy in second year of life, efficacy overall in 2 years of life, efficacy against all forms of gastroenteritis, efficacy against OPD visits and hospitalization, efficacy in between doses, and effectiveness studies. Now let me tell you, effectiveness is different from efficacy because effectiveness is a combination of herd effect, efficacy and the coverage. Now what is the severity? Severity is based on the Vesicari scoring system, which can be scored from 0 to 20, that the severity of the rotavirus gastroenteritis has been defined. Above 11 is severe, above 16 is very severe. But why is it that the efficacy in developed country is more and in developing country it is very less? Because of prevalent micronutrient malnutrition, prevalent gastrointestinal infections, co-administration with OPV. Now it has been observed that OPV immunity is not hampered, but the little less efficacy with rotavirus in vaccine was noted, and that too especially after first dose. Other mechanisms are interference with maternal antibodies, by antibodies in breast milk, multiple prevailing strains and strain variability which is noted in India, year-long incidence especially in India, and age of first rotavirus infection is too early in our country in India. Other factors are host characteristics like the characteristics of our population, our race let us say, and the difference in the gut microbiome. And because of all these factors, efficacy of this vaccine has been noted to be modest or lower than modest in our country. Let us see what are the types of vaccines which are available. Monovalent is Rotarix, Rotavac, Rotasure. Pentavalent are Rotatec and Rotasil. Now let us see the first one, Rotarix. Now it is a monovalent human rotavirus vaccine containing RIX4414, which is a G1P8 strain. Now efficacy had been demonstrated against G1P8 but also against G2P4, G3P8, G8P4 and so on because of heterotypic protection, as I have already explained. Only 2 doses are needed. It is a freeze-dried powder to be reconstituted with diluent before giving. It is 1 ml quantity. After reconstitution, it is a turbid solution. Let me tell you that the maximum age limit for last dose is 6 months. It is 8 months in United States, but in India we give it up to 6 months only. First dose should not be given beyond 14 weeks 6 days, and this principle applies to all brands. What about the efficacy data of Rotarix? Let me tell you that there is no efficacy data for India as such, though some safety and immunogenicity studies are there, but data are available for USA, Finland, Europe and Singapore, and in all these developed countries, the efficacy for severe rotavirus gastroenteritis is more than 90 to 95%, so it is very good. But let me tell you, in poor and developing countries like in Malawi or South Africa, the efficacy goes down to 49.4% and 76.9%, and this efficacy was also noted in first year. The overall 2-year efficacy was around 40 to 50% only. What about Rotavac? It is a made in India vaccine. It is a monovalent vaccine. It is a human bovine natural reassortant strain. It is G9P11, also called as the New Delhi strain or neonatal strain. Rotavac provides heterotypic protection against a wide variety of vaccines. Mismatched strain also like G1P8, G2P4, G12P6, G12P8, which are not there in vaccine itself. It is a ready to use liquid. It is 0.5 ml, a cheaper version of the vaccine. The maximum age for giving last dose is 32 weeks, but 3 doses are needed for this vaccine. Stringent storage conditions are required for Rotavac as well as Rotasure, because for long term storage it needs to be stored at -20 degrees, and during transport also it needs to be frozen. At 2 to 8 degrees it can be stored for 6 months. What about the efficacy data? The efficacy data against severe rotavirus gastroenteritis was around 55%, and the efficacy data against severe rotavirus gastroenteritis came out to be 57.2% as per the studies taken in India. Rotatec, it is also a pentavalent human bovine reassortant vaccine. It contains human G1, G2, G3, G4, P8 strains which are reassorted with WC3 bovine strains. It is a 2 ml ready to give liquid. It is the maximum age for giving the last dose is again 32 weeks, but 3 doses are needed to be given. Again, what about the efficacy data of this vaccine in our country? In India, there is no efficacy data available, but in other poor countries like Bangladesh, Vietnam, the efficacy was noted to be 48.3% and 72%. The combined efficacy was noted to be around 55% only. Yes, in USA, Australia, France, Spain, the efficacy came out to be beautiful, about 90 to 95% against severe rotavirus gastroenteritis. Rotasil, now this vaccine is a live attenuated pentavalent vaccine. It is a human bovine reassortant strain of serotype G1, G2, G3, G4 and G9 reassorted with bovine UK rotavirus propagated in varicella. It is a freeze-dried vaccine to be reconstituted with diluent, which is citrate bicarbonate buffer. The volume of vaccine is around 2.5 ml after reconstitution. The benefit of this vaccine, it is a very thermostable vaccine. It can be stored for around 30 months below 25 degrees, and in temperatures around 37 degrees it can be stored for 24 months. It is also a cheaper vaccine. The efficacy of data of Rotasil, the data which was carried out in the Niger country, efficacy against severe rotavirus gastroenteritis was noted to be 66.7%, but against very severe it was noted to be 78%. But in India, a little bit lower efficacy was noted. Efficacy against severe rotavirus gastroenteritis was 39.5%, and efficacy against very severe rotavirus gastroenteritis was 54.7%. What are the contraindications for rotavirus vaccine? These contraindications are for all brands. The contraindications are severe allergic reaction to the first dose or previous dose, severe combined immunodeficiencies or severe HIV. Precautions for all brands: history of intersusception, uncorrected congenital intestinal malformations, severe acute illness, severe gastroenteritis. Now, this vaccine contains sucrose and sorbitol, so those with hereditary problems of fructose intolerance, glucose galactose malabsorption, or sucrase isomaltase deficiency should not take the vaccine. Lactase rubber, if it is used in some oral applicator, can also cause anaphylactic allergic to lactase. So, those who have an allergy to latex should not receive these vaccines. Any adverse effects? Diarrhea, abdominal pain, flatulence, irritability can be there. Intersusception. Now, the causality has not yet been proved, but because more robust Indian data is needed for background rates of intersusception in the population, background rates of incidence after natural infection, and incidence after vaccination itself. Intersusception occurring within 7 days of vaccination should be considered significant, and intersusception occurring up to 31 days post vaccination is to be reported. That has to be remembered. So, the summary is that 64% of rotavirus diarrhea in India is very severe disease because the vaccine is still out of our reach to our poor population. So, considering the very high prevalence of the disease and particularly in high childhood mortality settings, vaccines even with low efficacy but greater coverage will also bring down the mortality significantly. Now, the issue is whether we should remove the age restrictions and will it help? Yes, it might help because government has not allowed to use this vaccine till 1 year of age, and might be that some more incidence of intersusception might be noted, but the benefits will be definitely more than the risk associated with it. More Indian data are awaited, and at present the superiority of one vaccine over the other vaccine cannot be concluded at present. So, you should remember that use any brand, but the goal should be to increase the coverage of the vaccine in our society for the benefit of the vaccine. Thank you.